Mademoiselle Development to see you.
Nanette! Jackie! Lord Windleton, my best friend, Mr. Belford.
Poetry indeed. You see, women, however charming, often have the disadvantage from distracting the mind from food. Now, obviously, onto wines, you have a fine selection at hand.
I am. I have made the economies in my time, and now I wish to enjoy my life quietly.
Well, I certainly do envy you, sir.
No, you would be unwise to do so. Well, you would be unwise to do so. It is not as gay as it sounds.
Big looking words.
Yes, I'm not counting my chickens before they hatch. I'm telling you now. I don't understand.
I'm afraid I might have heard that.
Nonsense. It's the job for you.
Maybe I really did out my ability. Might make it better for your sake.
I'll wait a few months just to make sure that this is the right job. Okay? She won't let us down.
Well, the down the seven seas, the worldly goods. That's how it is, isn't it? And as I say, we'll go to Egypt for honeymoon. I always wanted to go to Egypt in my life. The Nile, the pyramids, the sand. We'll see you together, Jackie. Wait, marvelous.
Yes, it'll be marvellous for me, or will it be as marvellous as it is for you?
Don't be certain.
Come on, let's dance.
Hello. Today? Who with? No, it's unexpected. Yes, I will meet you later. I have matters to attend to. Thank you. Cheerio. Hi, Sybil. Can you bring in Mr. Rockford, please? Yes, I just have something to discuss with him. Thank you.
What's up, Pennington?
Lynette is married.
What?
You heard me. Lynette is married.
When? Why? How did we not know about this?
Well, she wasn't married when she wrote me this letter, but she is married now. I believe she was wed on the morning of the 4th, which of course is today.
No warning, nothing. Who's the man?
Doyle. Simon Doyle.
This is going to take some thinking about it. We got a plan?
Well, the Normandy set sail today. I believe one of us should be able to slip on.
You're crazy. What's the big idea?
Well,
those British lawyers.
You're not going to over-tackle them, are you? Mad?
No, I'm not suggesting that. I merely suggest we go to England. I mean, Lynette's on her honeymoon. It's set to go for Egypt. She'll be away for a month, maybe more.
Egypt, eh? That's your big idea.
Yes, a chance visit on their honeymoon, her and her newlywed. Think it could work?
The net is sharp, but
She's not sharp enough for this. I mean, whoever goes, me or you,
no,
we
you,
should be able
you
to-
should go. I mean, really. You always had a charm with Lynette. Uncle Andrew. That's the ticket.
Well, whatever happens, I'll see if, see if it's good enough.
It's got to be good enough. The situation is critical.
Yes. See you later.
Just a bit.
We are here today to celebrate the wedding of Lynette Ridgway and Simon Doyle. Do you, Lynette Ridgway, take Simon Doyle to be your lawfully wedded husband? Do you, Simon Doyle, take Lynette Ridgway to be your lawfully wedded wife? By the power invested in me, I now pronounce you married. You may now kiss the bride.
Monsieur Poirot? You are Monsieur Poirot.
Yes, madame.
You know who I am, perhaps?
Yes, madame. I've heard your name. I know exactly who you are.
I've heard a great deal about you, Monsieur Poirot. I know that you are a very clever man. I'm in urgent need of someone to help. I think that you might be that man.
You are too amiable, mademoiselle, but I am on holiday and I don't take cases.
That could be arranged. You see, before I met my husband, he was engaged to Miss de Belfort. She was a very dear friend of mine. He called off the engagement as they were just not well suited in any way. But since then, she has made certain threats, none of which she has attempted to carry out. She has, however, adopted an extraordinary course of following us about wherever we go.
A rather unusual case of revenge.
Yes, it happened at first in Venice, at Daniele's. She was then there on board at Brindisi. We thought she was going to Palestine, but she was there, waiting for us at Mina House.
And now?
I thought she had stopped being so childish. When we got here, she was here, waiting for us.
And you are worried that the current state of things will continue?
Yes, this has got to be stopped.
And how do you propose that we handle this?
There's got to be some form of legal redress.
Has she threatened you? Has she done any bodily harm? Has she attempted any sort of act of violence?
Well, no.
Then frankly, madame, I do not see what we can do. If it is a young lady's pleasure to travel in certain places, or all the same places that you and your husband find yourself, then eh bien, what of it?
You mean there's nothing I can do about it?
Nothing at all. As far as I can see, Mademoiselle de Belfort is well within her rights. let me give you a little history. Madame, I am sitting in a restaurant in London. There in London, on the table next to me, is two fiancés. They speak of many plans for the future. They plan to go to Egypt for their honeymoon. And now that man finds himself in Egypt on a honeymoon, but this time with a different woman.
What of it? I had already mentioned the facts.
The girl in the restaurant mentioned a friend that would not let her down. A friend, I think, was you, madame.
Yes, I had told you that we had been friends.
She trusted you.
Yes. I do not deny that Jackie was passionately in love with Simon, but I don't think you take into account that he might not have felt the same way for her. I could sit here all day and list all the reasons why I didn't intentionally take Simon off of Jackie. But I'm afraid it'll do no good.
I wonder. It is very sensible. Very logical. All that you say.
Will you speak to her?
Yes, I will do that. But it is in my opinion that I could not be able to accomplish anything. Would you tell me what those threats were?
Thank you. She threatened to kill us. Both of us.
I see.
Will you act for me?
No, madame, I will not accept any commission from you. I will do what I can in the interest of humanity. That, yes, there is a situation full of difficulty and danger. I will do what I can to clear it up, but I am not very sanguine as to change my success.
But you will not act for me.
No. Mademoiselle de Bedford, do you permit that I speak to you?
Yeah, of course. You're Monsieur Hercule Poirot. Shall I ask that you're acting on behalf of Miss Doyle? I promise you a large fee if you succeed in your mission.
Your assumption is partially correct. I have just come from Madame Doyle, but I am not speaking for her. And if I'm speaking frankly, I'm not acting for her.
And why have you come then?
Have you ever seen me before, Mademoiselle?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I have seen you. We sat next to each other at the Chatswood Home table one night. You were there with Monsieur Simon Doyle.
Oh yes, I remember that evening.
And since then, many things have occurred. And I speak to you as a friend when I tell you, please, bury your dead.
I'm sure dear Lynette would like that.
I'm not thinking of her at this moment, I'm thinking of you. You're suffering, yes, but being here will only prolong that suffering.
Look, I know you're not stupid, and I know you mean well. You spoke to Lynette yourself, and you were there that night. We were in love.
I know you loved him.
We loved each other, okay? And I loved Lynette. She had the world at her feet, and one of the most sought after men in England wanted to marry her. But no, she suits for the most obscure Simon Doyle. Do you even know what went to his head? Do you even...
So you're relatively saying that she bought him?
No. I'm not saying that. But if he did, then that would be true. But he didn't. Otherwise I wouldn't be here. But he better be careful. Because it's a pretty little thing, isn't it? Yes, and he's a killer man. Or a woman. But I've trained in using these things as well. My grandfather taught me how to use it. One day, when I was younger, I went down to South Carolina with my mother. And my granddad taught me. He was old-fashioned like that. He believed in those sort of things.
Do not do what you are doing, madame. I beseech you, do not open your heart to evil, because evil will come.
Well, you can't stop me.
No, I can't stop you.
Even if I did kill one of them, you couldn't stop me.
No, I could not stop you.
Well, then you're accepting my scheme of River.
Who is it, mademoiselle?
Well, there was someone over there. Well, they've gone now. I've got to go. I've said what I need to say.
Yeah.
Good night.
Good night, mademoiselle. Ugh.
Monsieur Poirot. Good morning.
Good morning, Monsieur Doyle.
I understand, Monsieur Poirot, that my wife has been in contact with you. I'm glad of one thing, you made her see some sense.
Yes, there is clearly no legal redress.
Exactly. Lynette didn't understand this. She's been brought up to, let's say, see every little thing can be solved through the police.
If only that was the case, it would be a pleasure.
Did you ever talk to Jackie?
Yes, I did speak with her.
Did you make her see sense?
Unfortunately not.
Can't she see one ass of herself she's making? I admit, I was kind of to blame. I treated her damn badly, making a show of herself, but what does she think she'd get out of this?
Perhaps. Revenge.
She's hot-blooded. She has a bad temper. I understand better. I tried to do something more, well, I feel like she might try to do something dramatic. But this spying business,
Yes, it's more subtle. Intelligent.
you don't understand, is playing with me and my wife's emotions.
And you?
Well, if I can speak, clearly, I'd like to wring that little devil's neck in.
So there's none left? None of the old feeling?
How can I put this nicely? It's like the moon when the sun comes out. You don't really realise it's there anymore. That's how I feel about Jackie. I beg your pardon?
Sorry, your smile just intrigued me.
I suppose Jackie only told you that I'd married Lynette for the money? Well, that's a lie. When we started the Nile trip, we thought we'd seen it all. We thought we'd seen the end of her business.
You have not seen the end of it yet. No, the end is not yet in hand. I am very sure of that.
I must say, Poirot, you're not very encouraging.
You'll permit that I ask an impertinent question. Was it your idea to come here for your honeymoon?
Oh, of course not. As a matter of fact, I would have gone anywhere else. I don't really like this place. But Lynette was set on it.
Naturally. Anyway, I've got places to be. It was lovely speaking with you.
Good to see you.
Good day.
Monsieur Poirot, I'm afraid of everything. I've never felt like this before. These wild rocks, and the awful grimness and starkness. Where are we going? What's going to happen? I'm afraid, I tell you. Everyone hates me. I've never felt like that before. I've always been nice to people. I've done things for them, and they hate me. Lots of people hate me. Yeah, except Simon. Apart from him, I'm surrounded by enemies. It's terrible to feel that there are people who hate me.
What is all this, madame?
I suppose it's nerves. I just feel that everything's unsafe all around me. How will this end? We're caught here, trapped. There's no way out. We've got to go on. I I don't know where I am. How did she know we were on this boat? How could she have known?
She has brains, you know.
I feel as though I'll never escape from her.
There is one plan that you might have adopted. In fact, I'm surprised that you did not occur to you. After all, money is no object for you. Why would you not invest in your own private dilemma?
If we'd have known about all of this, but you see, we didn't then. And it was difficult. Oh, you don't even know the half of my difficulties. I've got to be careful of Simon. He's absurdly sensitive about money, about me having so much. He wanted me to get a little place in Spain with him. He wanted to pay all of our honeymoon expenses himself, as if it mattered. Men are so stupid sometimes. The mere idea of a Dabadea upset him, the needless expense. I've got to educate him, gradually. I must change. I'm sorry, Monsieur. I'm afraid I've been talking rather a lot of nonsense. Good night.
The turkey's actually really nice.
It's quite.
Ring the bell, Simon. I want another drink.
I think you've had enough to drink, Jacqueline.
What's that, your business?
Oh,
Exactly. So ring the bell. I want another drink.
Jacqueline? You can slow down. You need to go to bed.
I'm not tired. I don't want to go to bed. I want another drink. I'm going to tell you a story.
Oh, it's really late.
No. I'm going to tell you a story.
Jacqueline, put the gun down. It's not necessary.
Help! Someone help! She shot him! Someone help! Mr. Banthorpe! Mr. Banthorpe!
No, I didn't mean to.
Your instinct was quite right.
What was?
Lynette Doyle's dead. She was shot through the head last night.
I'd like to put my dear little pistol against her head and press the trigger. One feels one can't go on. The kind of day when something breaks.
Anything you don't agree with that?
Murder of Mrs. Lynette Doyle. Mrs. Doyle was last seen alive by her maid, Louise Burgert. Time, 11:30 approximately. From 11:30 to 12:20, the following have alibis: Cornelia Robson, James Fanthorpe, Simon Doyle, Jacqueline de Belfort, and nobody else. But the crime almost certainly committed after that time, since it is practically certain that pistol used was Jacqueline de Belfort's, which was then in her handbag. That her pistol was used is not absolutely certain until after post-mortem, and expert evidence re-bull it, but it may be taken as overwhelmingly plausible. Probable course of events. X, murderer, was witness of some scenes between Jacqueline and Simon Doyle in an observation saloon and noted where the pistol went under the settee. After the saloon was vacant, X procured pistol, his or her idea of being that Jacqueline de Belfort would be thought guilty of crime. On this theory, certain people are automatically cleared of suspicion. Cornelia Robson, since she had no opportunity to take the pistol before James Fanthorpe returned to search for it. Miss Bowers, same. Dr. Besner, same. NB. Fanthorpe is definitely excluded from suspicion, since he could actually have pocketed the pistol whilst declaring himself unable to find it. Any other person could have taken the pistol during that 10 minutes interval. Possible motives for the murder. Andrew Pennington. This is on the assumption that he has been guilty of fraudulent practices. There is a certain amount of evidence in favour of that assumption, but not enough to justify making out a case against him. If it was he who rolled down the boulder, he is a man who can seize a chance when it presents itself. The crime clearly was not premeditated, except in a general way. Last night's shooting scene was an ideal opportunity. Objections to the theory of Pennington's guilt. Why did he throw the pistol overboard, since it was constituted a valuable clue against JB? Fleetwood. Motive, revenge. Fleetwood considered himself injured by Lynette Doyle, might have overheard, seen, and noted position of pistol. He may have taken the pistol because it was a handy weapon, rather than with the idea of throwing guilt on Jacqueline. This would fit in with throwing it overboard. But if that were the case, why did he write J in blood on the wall? NB, cheap handkerchief found with pistol, more likely to have belonged to a man like Fleetwood than to one of the well-to-do passengers. Rosalie Otterbourne. Are we to accept Miss Van Schuler's evidence, or Rosalie's denial? Something was thrown overboard at that time, and that something was presumably the pistol wrapped up in the velvet stole. Points to be noted. Had Rosalie any motive? She may have disliked Lynette, and even been envious of her, but as a motive for murder that seems grossly inadequate. The evidence against her can be convincing only if we discover an adequate motive. As far as we know, there is no previous knowledge or link between Rosalie Otterbourne and Lynette Doyle. Miss Van Schuler. The velvet stole in which the pistol was wrapped belonged to Miss Van Schuler. According to her own statement, she last saw it on the observation saloon. She drew attention to its loss during the evening, and a search was made for it without success. How did the stole come into possession of X? Did X purloin it sometime early in the evening? But if so, why? Nobody could tell in advance that there was going to be a scene between Jacqueline and Simon. Did X find the stole in the saloon when he went to get the pistol from under the settee? But if so, why was it not found when the search for it was made? Did it never leave Miss Van Schuler's possession? That is to say, did Miss Van Schuler murder Lynette Doyle? Is her accusation of Rosalie Otterbourne a deliberate lie? If she did murder her, what was her motive? Other possibilities. Robbery is a motive, possibly since the pearls have disappeared and Lynette Doyle was certainly wearing them last night. Someone with a grudge against the Ridgway family, possible, again, no evidence. We know that there is a dangerous man on board, a killer. Here we have a killer and a death. May not the two be connected? But we should have to show that Lynette Doyle possessed dangerous knowledge concerning this man. Conclusions. We can group the persons on board into two classes. Those who had a possible motive, or against whom there is definitive evidence, and those who, as far as we know, are free of suspicion. Group 1. Andrew Pennington, Fleetwood, Rosalie Otterbourne, Miss Van Schuler, Louise Burgert, robbery, Ferguson, political. Group 2. Mrs. Allerton, Tim Allerton, Cornelia Robson, Miss Bowers, Dr. Besner, Signor Ricchetti, Mrs. Otterbourne, and James Fanthorpe.
What you've written here, it's very exact.
You agree with that?
Yes,
Now what?
we catch our killer.